11 fundamental rights petitions were filed with the Supreme Court claiming that the Sri Lankan administration failed to prevent the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks despite having information about an imminent attack. They were taken up in the presence of Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya and Justices Bhuvanekalu Vihare, LTB Dehideniya, Muthu Fernando, S. Thurayraja, AHMD Nawaz and Shiran Gunaratna. The Supreme Court bench delivered the ruling for almost 1 hour and noted that former President Maithripala Sirisena, former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, former IGP Pujit Jayasundara, former Chief of National Intelligence Sirisena Mendes and former State Intelligence Service Director Nilantha Jayawardena had violated Article 12(1) of the Constitution relating to equal protection of the law. They also violated Article 14(1)(e) of the Constitution relating to the freedom to practice religion. Former President Maithripala Sirisena was ordered to pay a sum of 100 million rupees as compensation. Former IGP Pujit Jayasundara and the former SIS Director Nilantha Jayawardena were directed to pay 75 million rupees each as compensation. Former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando was ordered to pay 50 million rupees as compensation and former CNI Sirisena Mendes was directed to pay 10 million rupees as compensation. The Supreme Court ordered that 1 million rupees should be paid as compensation to every person that died in the attacks, while those who were injured are to receive 500,000 rupees per person as compensation. The Supreme Court ordered the state to take appropriate disciplinary action forthwith against the former SIS Director Nilantha Jayawardena for his lapses and failures. The Attorney General was ordered to report to court on the progress within 6 months. Then Prime Minister and current President Ranil Wickremesinghe was named as a respondent as well. However, on the 26th of September 2022, the Supreme Court decided that according to Article 35(1) of the Constitution, a case cannot be maintained against a sitting president, and Ranil Wickremesinghe is entitled to immunity as the current president.
What were the key observations made by the Supreme Court in its ruling?
The Supreme Court noted that Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police Nilantha Jayawardena, the then Director of State Intelligence Service, had received information from a highly delicate source via WhatsApp on the 4th of April 2019 to the effect that the National Tawhid Jamaat leader and his associates were planning to carry out a suicide terror attack on important churches, and they have conducted a reconnaissance of the Indian High Commission. Jayawardena had told the court that immediate action was taken by him to instruct responsible officers to transform the above information into intelligence in order to establish the true identities of persons. However, the Supreme Court had said it is strange as to why the true identities of persons have to be established, as the identities of these extremist elements had long been established. Nilantha Jayawardena cannot put forward a facile argument that the intelligence received on the 4th of April 2019 was nothing more than mere information. The court also said that Nilantha Jayawardena and then IGP Pujit Jayasundara were both aware of the potential threats by Zaharan, his cohorts and the National Tawhid Jamaat long prior to the Easter Sunday attacks. Even the Defence Secretary cannot plead ignorance of the radicalization of Zaharan and his complicit partners, as he had continued to receive reports regarding this from November 2018. The Supreme Court said that Easter Sunday was just a few weeks away when the heads-up about the imminent attack came from India, but there was little alertness or perspectiveness shown by officials to carry out any measures to safeguard any of the churches in the country. Court noted that Nilantha Jayawardena committed unpardonable lapses, quite unbecoming of a super sleuth who should be heading such a powerful department under the Ministry of Defence. The court noted that the IGP should have shared the intelligence information received with senior DIGs and other relevant parties in the police service, especially the DIG of the Eastern Province, as there was a dry run on the 16th of April 2019 in Kathankudi. This failure to notify his men in the provinces is quite a flagrant violation of his police duties, and the IGP, as the head of the police service, should have taken all necessary steps to keep the police and also the political leadership informed. Court also noted that Chief of National Intelligence Sirisena Mendes failed in his duties by turning a blind eye to the onerous responsibilities attendant upon his office. The Supreme Court noted that under the presidency of the former President Maithripala Sirisena, the National Security Council meetings were sporadic and not regular, and a notorious misappreciation of the duties and functions of the Minister of Defence has led to an appalling lack of appreciation of importance of the National Security Council. According to the court ruling, despite the 1999 Gazette, which provided for the constitution of the NSC, the attendance at the NSC had been determined solely by the President, with no reasons given for the exclusion of key members who should have been an indispensable part of security and intelligence briefings such as the Prime Minister, State Minister for Defence and the IGP. There was extensive submission that the Prime Minister was kept out of the NSC and was not provided with any information. It also noted that the former President had been remiss in this duty of keeping abreast of the latest information on Zahran and his associates. This dismal failure on the part of the former President Maithripala Sirisena resulted in disastrous consequences for this country, and not only lives were lost and properties destroyed, but interracial tension and inter-ethnic hatred began to raise their ugly heads, causing the very fabric of this nation to be broken and become fragile.